www.touchfm.org. I am your girl, Lady Devine, and I am honored to be here at Touch 106.1 FM, bringing you information to build our nation. It's essential that we stand with Touch 106.1 FM. Tune in at touchfm.org, and if you don't have the internet, which we know we are affected by the digital divide, you can tell your friends and family. They can call up on their cell phones or home phones at 641-552-5309. Again, 641-552-5309. Right back with you. We have in the studio Petra of Petra's Destiny, a BNN TV show that you should definitely check out. She brings a lot of good information. SOB, and I mean saving our babies, is one of them that I really enjoy learning from her on. However, today she's in the studios of Touch 106.1 FM to bring you critical information about a program that's being implemented in the Boston Public Schools right here in your community. Petra, how will this Common Core affect students going to college and getting into college, and how is it connected with the SAT and the other standardized tests that young people take and people take to enter into college?
Okay, right now this test, the PARC that they've put together, unfortunately, they have already scrapped PARC, which is the assessment piece that goes with Common Core, because people started talking about that. And because we began a big movement about that, they wanted now to change it to MCAS too. So they're trying to slip it in there. The other issue that I have with it as well is that it's a gathering data. And that's information that is going to follow your children from kindergarten all the way to the rest of their lives. And so whatever is going on in your family, that's going to be recorded. Psychological issues, whatever. They're going to know everything inside out about your family. And that data is also going to be mined by other people. So those are problems that I have with that, as well as the DCF. Department of Children and Families. That's a perfect way for them to get information about your family so that they can take your children. That is happening right now, and it's going to come bigger on a larger scale, that your children are going to be coming out of your home so quick you won't even know that they're gone. That's how quick it's going to happen. So we have to be very, very careful of what we let come into our schools and what we say we're going to do. And another thing people have to learn how to do is opt out of whatever things that they want your child to do. You say, no, we don't want to do that. My child is not going to do that. You have to stand up against this stuff. This is something that's being... It isn't even something that is tested and tried and true, but it's something that's being forced on you as guinea pigs. You all are going to be guinea pigs, and Bill Gates said for the next 10 years, you will be guinea pigs. So in 2023, they might know what effects it might have or not. You know what I'm saying? So this, we have to be very, very careful what we allow people to do to us, for us. If we are sleeping, we will not know. We need to wake up.
We definitely, I agree, need to wake up. And I was doing some research, and I came across some information from the Next News Network program, interview with Dr. Duke Pessa. And we're going to listen to a little bit of that interview.
Common Core. This is a huge and rapid takeover of education, and the vast majority of American moms and dads are only beginning to realize it happened. Nobody was consulted. No state legislatures were consulted, no governors, no moms and dads, no state and local school boards were ever consulted about this. One day they woke up and there it was, and everything has had to conform to it.
So is there anything positive that can come out of this program?
Well, you know, like the big government education program that Common Core replaced, No Child Left Behind. No Child Left Behind was a screaming disaster. I have never yet met a single teacher, principal, superintendent who has anything but contempt for No Child Left Behind. All Common Core is No Child Left Behind on steroids. The worst aspects of No Child Left Behind are now what Common Core is. The big difference is that there is much, much more federal control now than there was with No Child Left Behind. And certainly, right? I mean, in somewhere buried within the bowels of No Child Left Behind were one or two good ideas. And inevitably, a program this sweeping and this big is going to have some redeeming qualities. The problem is how it was implemented. The problem is the negative aspects of it. The problem is all the absolute lack of input from moms and dads, teachers on the ground in terms of being able to adopt and implement this.
So in a nutshell, this Common Core educational system is a thoroughly top-down lobbyist drafted curriculum being bribed into the public school system. Is that a correct evaluation?
You said that very well. Top down, you bribe states to take it, and then you blackmail states on the way out. You had mentioned the 45 states who were involved. The fact is that here we are about 9-10 months in, more or less, for most states, and 30 states in the union are already having second thoughts, beginning to try to pull out. I'll give you one example, New York State. New York State, one of the more liberal states in the union, they took $700 million and raised the top money to take this program a few years ago. Just a couple weeks ago, the New York State Teachers Union, hardly a hotbed of right-wing activism, the New York State Teachers Union voted unanimously to halt the implementation of Common Core in New York and called for the immediate firing of the Superintendent of Education who brought it to New York schools. The National Education Association, one of the largest teachers union groups in the country, called the implementation recently absolutely botched and said we have to scrap it and start over. So the voices on the left in states that have had it for a while are already coming around to see what the big problems are.
So what happens then if that institution or that district takes the money? They take the money, they accept the program, they go ahead and spend the funds, and then they say, it's not working out for us, we don't want...
It's not working out for us. Let's take a station break, and we're going to be right back with some more from Petra, speaking about the Common Core that is coming soon to our school system. Find out more about this. It's already here. Petra said it's already here.
Just trying to get rid of it.
And there we go. We're going to take the station break and be right back with you.
But you know what the thing about it, that regardless of whatever, I'm always going to be out here talking.
Okay. Just about to come on the air with a woman that is in our community doing what every one of us should be doing, working for the betterment of every citizen. I'm speaking of none other than Petra Joseph of Petra's Destiny, and we're going to be coming up in a few minutes with a topic that you should be very interested in, and that is coming to your town soon, unless we get together and stop it, the Common Core. If you haven't heard about it, stay tuned. Stay right here at touchfm.org, and we are going to do what Touch does every day of the week, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365, the fabric of the black community. We are black. We're black in the studio, and we promise to bring this information to you, information to build our nation. Yep, and you know it from the world's greatest radio station, Touch 106.1 FM, the fabric of the black community, where you can feel and hear the difference. I was floored, and I am so knowing that many of you may be floored after this interview on today. We are talking about the educational system in the United States, and especially right here in Boston, right here in our hometown. There's a young lady in the studios today, our own Petra Joseph of Petra's Destiny, a BNN TV show that you should definitely check out. You could catch her also on Comcast Channel 23 and RCN Channel 83. But you definitely could, she'll give you some more about how to reach her in this interview. I want to first welcome you, Petra, to Touch 106.1 FM and to the fabric of the black community.
Thank you.
You are so full of information, and some people may not know you, so tell our audience a little bit about your background and what brings you here today.
Yes, I am a former school teacher, and I basically have been following what's going on in our community. I am truly an activist. Things that have to do with our children, families, whatever. That is common to me. That is important to me. And so therefore I want to see our community doing better. And that's by educating and informing our people to let them know what's going on so that they can make the right decisions as to what they need to do in order to become, a better community. And that's what we really want to look for, is a community that's thriving socially, economically, spiritually, in every aspect.
Well, I definitely agree with you 100%. Today our topic, however, is Common Core, and you've been in the school department. You know about some of the things that's gone on in education 20 years ago or more, and also we had No Child Left Behind that we've struggled with since the Bush era in America for the educational system of our children. However, today we're faced in looking at something called Common Core. What is Common Core?
Well, Common Core is basically a mix between our government and basically companies that want to take control of the minds of our people. And unfortunately, it's not going to be something that is going to be helpful to us, because they want to indoctrinate our children. And we have to say no to that.
We'll get back to that word indoctrination as one of the, as I did my research on Common Core, one of the main characteristics that was sounded off by people, especially people who are opposed to this new standard.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Common Core has been adopted already in 45 states, including the District of Columbia. And who benefits? How did this Common Core come about? Who set the standards? What group of people came up with this idea of coming away from No Child Left Behind and getting into this Common Core? And what are the differences there?
Okay, basically what we're looking at is Massachusetts has a standards called Massachusetts Comprehensive Assessment System, which is MCAS, as most people know it. And that is where we drive a curriculum. It's a standard for every part of our curriculum: math, science, history, English, whatever. That's how we run our schools, and in terms of our teachers, that's how we teach. And so therefore that's what it is. But Common Core is basically a national standard, which is what they want to bring in, that every school system throughout the United States of America will have to adhere to, which is that one size fits all, and that's not the way it happens. One size does not fit all. Every child has different needs, and we have to cater to that. Within the talking of these people coming together, remember, no one was a teacher, no one was an educator. The person who was Arnie Duncan, he was a socialist, and a sociologist, I should say, not a socialist, but might as well be, but well, anyways, he's a sociologist, and he came from that background, and he wanted to build basically clinics, wanting to see clinics in our schools, and doing all sorts of other things, opening our schools to a very longer day and so forth. As well as we have another young man who is also a data-driven person. He was the one that, his name is David Coleman, and he was the one that really stood over and watched Common Core come to being. He has no educational background at all.
Now, what I'm hearing from you is that there is from my research also, there's a very small group of non-educational professionals, people Bill Gates
Yes.
Foundation funded some of this, which is problematic in some people's minds. What is the definite problem that we as a community should be honing in on with who developed this curriculum,
Okay, first of all,
or the lack of participation of who didn't direct this standard?
Absolutely. Basically, when I say that this is a school, I am looking at seeing education, learning. And basically, it's not about learning right now, and it's not about teaching our kids how to learn, but it's about putting information in our kids, telling them what to think. And so that becomes very problematic. And we as a community and as a people, we need to think, we need to be analytical, we need to be able to look at things from several viewpoints and come up with a conclusion. And for someone to put something and ram it down our throats and say, this is the way you're supposed to think, I don't want to see a generation coming up like that. Our generation will be just going forward doing nothing. And if you don't have an education, because when the standard was developed, basically, it's not teaching our kids anything, period. And some of the things that are being taught in the schools is transgenderism. Okay, I'm telling your child he can, if he feels like he's a girl, he can be a girl. If he wants to be a whatever, he can be whatever. These are things that are being taught. Homosexuality, even at a young age in the 3rd grade elementary school, and these kids have no idea what this stuff means. So are they trying to teach our children educational things, math, science, and so forth? No, they're trying to give our kids things that are detrimental to them at such a young age where their minds cannot even wrap around it. Okay, and so those are things that I'm concerned with, is the development of our children and how they're going to deal and cope with that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from you, and you could correct me, is that one of your concerns is the moral standards that comes out of Common Core.
Absolutely.
And knowing you, I would you laughing. Absolutely, and I love knowing you. So the moral standards that are implicated here, especially going 20 years down the line, if this Common Core is the standard that's being used. And also, you say they're not being taught. And let's get back to that indoctrination. Give us an example of what Common Core uses to indoctrinate, other than this transgender. When it comes to education, what are some of the things that our children are learning? I know for a fact my teenager comes home telling me about the Holocaust, and I end up asking him. He tells me about the Jewish Holocaust, and I ask him, what does he know? What are they teaching about the Black Holocaust? So what other things do you see happening under Common Core that are really, really, I guess I should ask you, what would you like to see opposed to what you're seeing in this Common Core?
Well, what I would like to see is actual learning going on.
And what is that?
And when I say learning, that is learning how to read and write, okay, and doing the things that is going to give you a leg up in the society, which means when you leave the school, that you are more than able to go to college and to go in there and to be able to make sure that what you have learned, you're able to bring it out in college and get a good career and so forth. And with Common Core, basically, they're saying they don't really care about whether or not you can learn. Okay, their main goal is just to make sure that they indoctrinate you and get you through. And getting you through, it means nothing to them but to see you whatever. And my problem is that we already have a broken system right now, okay, in terms of education. It's already broken, and we need to fix it. Common Core is not the solution. It really isn't the solution to fix our problem. Our problem is so deep that we need to have our parents being more involved in our schools. And when I say that, is that if we were involved, this would never have taken place. Because now the state wants to think that they are your father or their mother. The government, the federal government wants to take over everything, and they want to act like they're your father, and they want to implement things that will be detrimental to your children. Even as if they say they do clinics, then they're going to tell your child, okay, you can have the morning after pill, you can have this, you don't have to tell your mother, you don't have to tell your father, you don't have to. Parents will not be involved in any part of their child's day or their growing up of their lifestyle. And so therefore the kids will be doing whatever they want to do, and that will be going right into what the people want, because they're going to want abortion. They're going to want your kids having illicit, immoral sex. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. And go ahead.
There's no need to be sorry at all. This is people really, we are here to wake people up so that they can make that intellectual decision on what they like to see in their schools. And I agree, parents should be more involved. This is to encourage parents to be involved. I really appreciate you being here. This is your girl Lady Devine at touchfm.org. We're going to take a station break and be right back with some more with Petra Joseph of Petra's Destiny on Common Core. Yes, and we are black here with you at touchfm.org, the fabric of the black community, where you truly feel and hear the difference, getting some information to build our nation. Petra, thank you so much for being here, for coming in to put this topic in the ears and the minds and the hearts of our audience, of people who have been totally destroyed for the lack of information. So I believe in the Bible it says people perish for the lack of knowledge, and we want to make sure that we provide all the knowledge that our community needs to make the right decisions, and the decisions from their perspective, an educated decision-making process. So we only have a few minutes left, and I want to find out from you, what solutions do you recommend, and what other where else can people get information about Common Core that is already in the Boston public school system?
Okay, yes. First of all, the solutions that I have right now are these. And the first one is really, right now we are signing a ballot to try to get it on to the November ballot question. So we want that on there. We've already collected over 120,000 signatures, with 80,000 that we actually sent in, and it was said to be okay.
How many do you need?
We needed 60 something. But right now we have to now go again and get an additional 11,000, I believe, signatures. So right now that is what we're on the push to get 11,000 more signatures so that we can get it on the ballot. So what I'm asking you all to do is to come down to either Stop and Shop, and I'm going to get a little bit more information. But you know, if you see me around, okay, I'm the only little person out there asking for you to sign a sheet to end Common Core. And if you see that, please make sure that you sign it, so that we can get rid of Common Core. And the second thing is, we are also, I believe that if this does go through, which I doubt it will, because I know you people are very upset about this information and you want to do something about it. But if it does, for any reason, get through, then what you can do is actually private schools. You can take your kids out to private schools. You can do homeschooling. You can also have tutors come in and help your children with certain areas, and also read to your children and let them know, give them information, you know, that they may not be getting in the public schools. If you can't afford to take your children out of public schools, then with the information that they're getting there, just make sure that you get home and you give them information that will help them understand what's going on in in the classrooms and so forth. And then also go to the PTA meetings. Become active. Know what's going on in the school. What they're teaching your children. What you need to know, because they ask them all kinds of questions. They're doing all kinds of things, and we don't know. And we go along to get along. And we need to be in these schools. And we also need to be. We need more parents and not less parents in our schools. And also, we're having a forum on June the 20th. And that is going to be at the Dudley Street Library, and it's from 5 o'clock. So I want to see each and every one of you all down there. You can ask questions. We're going to have 3 guest speakers. One is Rachel Kemp. The other is Sandra Stotsky. And the last one is Mary Ann Allegro. Sandra Stotsky worked on Common Core. So if you have any questions, you can ask her. She will be there to give you information. We will have a question and answering session as well. So that's basically it for the solutions, and I'm hoping that we're able to knock this out of the ballpark with us coming out and knowing what Common Core is and voting against it, saying we do not want that in our schools, because it was something that our great governor took. He took the money. And once he took the money, we're obligated to actually go along with Common Core. And so that is what they do, is that they bribe you with the money from Bill Gates and all the others. And who's going to win? It's going to be the government, because they're going to indoctrinate your children. And who's going to win is the Pearsons, those people who write the curriculum and books and so forth. They will win. They'll make big money. Bill Gates, he'll make money, because all of his computers and so forth will be put in our classrooms, because they have to take the test through that. And they do not get they're not corrected by the teachers. Unfortunately, someone else does the correcting. So give me a break, okay? That makes no sense.
Absolutely. Well, Petra Joseph, I am honored to have you in the studio today, and you, our audience, our wonderful, wonderful people, remember, our power is in our unity. So when we unify against any issue, we are victorious. Remember, unity. Use that word, unity, every day. Implement it into your life at home. Then when you go abroad in the streets, and when you go abroad even out into the world. Our power is our unity. We want to make sure that you learn more about Common Core. You could Google it. How can people reach you other than seeing you in the Stop and Shop area getting signatures, Petra?
You can also go to me. I have a television program, Petra Destiny, and that's on BNN TV. You can see me there. You can email me. My email number is email address is petradestiny@yahoo.com. And so if you have any questions, you can also send them right there. Okay?
That's Petra Destiny,
PetraDestine @yahoo.com.
There you have it. That's how you can reach our sister Petra and learn more about Common Core and yourself. This is something that every one of us should be concerned about. And if we are rather negative or positive, we should be informed about what's going on with the children. Our children are our future. That's one of the things that Brother Charles Clemens always say. And it's a true statement. And what we give them, what we allow them to have, what we allow other people to do to our children is our responsibility as adults. I want to invite you on Tuesday to watch the Real Talk show. That is the show that I produce, Lolita Devine, and co-host with Brother Charles Clemens. We bring to you information also building our nation, and we try to make sure that we have those phone lines open so that you can speak. Now I'm going to invite you right here now, Petra, to come on so that we could give more information about the forum that's going to be. That's on this Tuesday, May 31st, 5:30 live at BNN TV and also Comcast Channel 23, RCN 83. Also, my guest on that day will be the founders of Boston Camera Boston Police Camera Action Team so that we could get more information about what's going on with that whole voluntary camera use of the Boston Police Department. So as we always, I like to remind you, words of Harriet Tubman. I freed 1,000 slaves. I would have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. Keep it locked right here at touchfm.org. We are going to return to our regular programming.